Hi, welcome back. I'm Doug Andrew. And in this IUL Insiders series, again, my objective is to help you understand things well enough that when your prospective clients ask questions like, how does IUL compare to other investment alternatives or places where I could put my money, you'll know how to answer the question or point them to the charts, graphs, and explanations inside the Laser Fund book, or maybe in some of our brochures, depending upon how much you are engaging with us and a lot of our marketing material and educational videos and what have you. So I just want you to know that this knocks the socks off of most investments. Now, before we start, remember, I don't want my indexed universal life insurance policy to be called an investment. In fact, I have slides that are disclaimers. They're in my books. Life insurance is not an investment and accordingly should not be purchased as an investment. Why? If somebody asks you, why did Mr. Andrew say that? It's because investments in the Internal Revenue Code in the financial services industry go over a certain section of the code that are going to be taxed sooner or later, like an IRA or 401k, and they're usually subject to market volatility. I don't want an investment if that's how they define it. They won't let you call your house an investment. But if I put it over in the insurance sections, section 72E, 7702, and 101A of the Internal Revenue Code, now it's tax-free insurance. Now, don't focus so much on what it is. Look at what it does. Can it outperform other types of places you put money like investments? Oh, it'll knock the socks off of most investments. So having that as your framework in your brain, let's go through and sort of show how IUL compares to other places where people put money, other investments. We usually have people that say, well, I'm in mutual funds. I have money in a tax-deferred IRA or 401k. I have municipal bonds. Sometimes older people say, ooh, I like munis. And I've always earned usually at least 2% higher than the municipal bond rate, but they like munis because they're tax-free. Some people say, well, why would I want an indexed universal life? A Roth is tax-free. If you don't understand how to answer that question, Roths have what? Two advantages. You put in after-tax money, it accumulates tax-free, you can access it tax-free. Yes, IUL has those two advantages. But IUL has 4 additional advantages. You can put in huge lump sums. You can't do that with Roths. In fact, if you make too much money, you don't qualify to have a Roth. That's why the Laser Fund, Indexed Universal Life, is often referred to as the rich man's Roth. I can put money in. 30 days later, I can take it back out again. I don't have to wait 5 years or till I'm 59 and a half. I can use indexing. I can participate when the market goes up and not lose when it goes down. Roths don't allow you to do that. Okay? Well, they don't exist. They don't offer that. And the last thing is Roths don't blossom when you die. I mean, if I died right now, every million would blossom to about 2.5 million and transfer tax-free. Roths don't do that. And so there's a ton of benefits when people say, well, what's the difference between putting my money here or here? You need to be equipped with arrows in your quiver to pull the arrow out and be able to help people understand and hit the target with what is it that is unique about indexed universal life insurance contracts that are maximum funded that outperform whatever they think is the cat's meow, where they've been putting their money. You don't want to demean them and say, oh, that was stupid. No, don't ever do that to a prospective client. To say, well, you were doing the best you knew with the information you probably had at the time. Now you know better, right? Okay. And so how does this compare? Well, to help you with that, we have an entire chapter in the Laser Fund book. And so again, on the left brain side of this book, we talk in chapter 10, comparing different vehicles. And so in the illustration, during the funding years, you fill it up. Let's say it's $500,000, and then that $500,000, the 5-story building, all 5 floors are leased out. And now it turns into this cash cow, and $500,000 doubles to $1 million, and then $1 million doubles to 2, and 2 doubles to 4, and 4 doubles to 8. You show this historically over a 30 or 40-year illustration to their retirement age and then to age 85, 90, age 120, most investments will have run out. So I'm going to show you two ways to compare for your prospective client your indexed universal life insurance proposal compared to other investment alternatives so that they get it. If you say, well, this earns a 2% higher rate of return, they go, that doesn't sound, no, that's huge as far as income lasting longer. So in the book, the illustrations, first of all, show the laser fund, and we compare it to taxed as earned investments. And we show them at different interest rates. With the software, you can change the interest rate to whatever you want. And so we go through and we show all kinds of bar graphs. The software is pretty powerful in these. But if you're trying to explain it, assign that chapter to a prospective client before your appointment. We actually assign certain chapters before every appointment as we're taking a client through what we call the true wealth transformation process. And that's an 8-step process that helps them come in and look at their assets that they need to optimize, reposition, and then we do a strategic design, and then we tweak it. We arrive at a success formula for them that's unique, that is customized, and then we arrive at a final action blueprint, and then we go through the implementation process, and then we tweak it every year with annual reviews and rebalancing, and they see this 8-step process, and it's explained on one 8.5 by 11 laminated sheet of paper, and they keep it for years. Now, also in here, we show comparisons to other alternatives as far as rates of return, and then we can compare it to a tax-deferred IRA or 401k, assuming a rate of return of 5, 7, 9, 10%. What's going to be the advantage to the IUL? It's tax-free. The tax-deferred earning 9 is really only going to net 6. A mutual fund earning 12 is only going to net 8, and after fees, maybe only 7. So when you say those kinds of things, a lot of people have a hard time getting their brain around that type of information. When you deal with this day in and day out, it just rolls off your tongue eventually. But for people who have heard it the first time, you need to show them in charts what you're talking about. What is the effect of having a tax-free rate of return versus a tax-deferred rate of return? Even if it's higher, it doesn't last as long. So that's what the purpose is of the charts in the book in this chapter 10. Now, the neatest thing as you get towards the end of the chapter, that's when we arrive at sort of a summary chart. So if you're following with a book right now, I am referring to the chart found on page 165, and this shows the comparison to various alternatives. Now, you refer to it in the book, because the book is done in gray tones. It's like this. But when we have live events, we actually color it. And why do I use color coding? It's because when something is not good, in other words, these investments do not have these features, it's red, red, red. Caution, okay? If maybe it's yellow. If it's green, then it does. So here are several different categories of investments. The first column is the IRA 401ks. The next one are mutual funds. Then we have your home. Then we have CDs and bank savings, annuities, real estate. And then guess what this one is over here? The laser fund. The best of all the game. Which one, just from the color code, do you think is the best? Which one is the one that has all those greens? The laser fund. Okay, well, what's the red? Oh, tax deductible payments. You can't tax deduct what you put into it. Well, you can't do that with a Roth either. What's the trade-off? I get to accumulate, access, and transfer my money tax-free. I have liquidity, safety, predictable rates of return. It has all these benefits. What's this yellow one? Oh, penalty-free. If you did something stupid, you could incur an unnecessary penalty. We've never had a client have to pay any kind of a penalty for early withdrawal or surrender charge or whatever, that because they didn't understand that. So we put it yellow to give the other ones a fair shot. So it becomes, from a visual standpoint, a no-brainer once they understand all these features. So let's go through these in a little bit more detail. When you show it in some kind of a seminar in front of the client in the book or in a chart, then you can talk about the features. So we talk about these wealth strategies, and you can address risk, guarantees, penalties, liquidity and use, protection, leverage, the tax deferred, tax free, collateral. Can you use your insurance policy as collateral? Tax deductible payments, disability benefit, wealth transfers. We use this one for years, showing people different wealth accumulation vehicles, and we put on this column what you want. Well, that was confusing because risk, you don't want risk. So we reworded it for the book. And so in the book, when we talk about risk, we want to have the tremendous amount of safety. So we turn it all into what we want. And so it's a little bit different in the book than this chart I'm showing you here. The whole purpose is you go down IRAs and 401ks. Look at all the red. You go through mutual funds. Look at all the red. You have risk. You don't have, and then you go look at a home. Oh, a home isn't that good, is it? CDs and bank savings. Oh, they might be safe, but they're pathetic in the rate of return, 1%. You look at annuities. Oh, wow, they only have one green square. See, that's pretty visual. Why, I've never owned an annuity. I doubt I ever will. Oh, look, real estate only has 2 green. Doesn't mean real estate's bad, but where do I have my real estate equity? Over here. Because the maximum funded insurance contract comes through with flying colors. It knocks the socks off of all these others. When you create a visual, when you point your client to a chart and they say, what about this? What if I put my money there? You mean if you were in my shoes, you would take it out of your IRA or 401k in the market? Yeah, I would. Why do you want volatility? That's red. See, that's yellow. I want green. When they see all of the advantages of a max-funded indexed universal life insurance contract, it becomes a no-brainer to be able to choose the right investments. So here is another alternative. Now, what I did for years is with Innsmark software, I would create an illustration. And it was amazing how many of my competitors, they just went, that is brilliant. But I would say, okay, let's accumulate money for 30 years. Let's say they're 35. So let's go from age 35 to age 65, and then let's retire and start taking income out. Now, what I would do with the software is I would calculate what the indexed universal life insurance policy based on actual historical rates of return would likely grow to based upon the NAIC illustrated rates. And so I would have a certain amount at age 65. Let's say it's $1 million. And then I would say, how much can this couple or this person, this insured, take out of this policy via what? Indexed loans or fixed loans, whatever you program in there. How much could they take out and have it last if they live to be 100 or 110 or 120? And so it will calculate it that fast. And it may say, well, based on index loans and historical performance, they could take out $90,000 a year, and it would last if they lived to be 120. If it said $80,000 a year, you just program in the variables, and it will calculate. Here's what I would do. I would say, well, here, this one gives you, $80,000 or $90,000 a year, and it doesn't run out until you're age 120. And I purposely made it do that. I made it run out to give the other ones a fair comparison. Now, you've been telling me that you have money in IRAs or 401ks in the market. So what rate of return did you tell me? You thought you could get 10. I go, you're not earning 10, but let's give you the benefit. Let's say 10. And then they see that they have to pay tax on that money when they take it out. So what I'm trying to do is have the same income. So in order to net 80,000, they have to pull out 120,000 or more because of fees. So the software calculates that. It's taking out actually 120, 125,000 to net the 80. It already calculates that. Guess what happens? The IRA and 401k runs out of money at age 86. Mine goes on to age 120. Mutual funds earning 12% run out, usually by the time they're in their mid-80s. Annuities run out in their 70s sometimes. CDs at banks run out in 2 or 3 years after they retire. Wherever they have their money, I compare it. And I do that with software, okay? And you can have access to that kind of software when you engage with us, with IUL Insiders, if you need. But see, what I was doing is I was taking the income I feel confident the indexed universal life insurance policy could generate, $80,000, $90,000 a year, and I would highlight in yellow when all the other investments were running out. And people would say, well, golly, this one's way better. Now, sometimes I wouldn't tell them what it was. I said, well, I've analyzed, I've done a comparison. Which one do you want? And they went, oh, hello? This one over here, it lasts until I'm 120. What is it? And I would uncover the last column and I'd say, it's a life insurance policy. Oh, I don't need any insurance. I wish I had a nickel for every time somebody said that. I go, really? Yeah, I don't need any insurance. I'm insurance poor. I'm going, well, what does that have to do with it? This is net after the cost of the insurance. Oh, well, I don't need any insurance. You just told me you would take that one hands down because it lasts the longest. What if it is an insurance policy? What does having or needing or wanting insurance have to do with it? Make me the beneficiary then. Choose the one that generates the most at the time in life when you're going to need the money the most. And if you don't want insurance, then make me the beneficiary. Every time I said that, they go, well, no, I'm going to make my wife the beneficiary. Okay. You just have to have fun with them because they get hung up on in their brain, oh, life insurance, I don't need any more life insurance. Well, then you're going to choose an inferior place where you will outlive your money? Oh, no, I want that one. I just don't want the death benefit. Well, it comes along for the ride. What does it cost? No, it's coming along for the ride. That's net. That's coming along. You're not buying insurance in addition to that. It's coming as a benefit. Oh, I'll take that. See, it's all in how they view what it is that you're showing them, and that's what a comparison does. Now, my associate, actually my radio show producer, who was also an IUL producer, Greg Dukwitz, he sort of flipped that. And so he said, you know what, Doug, you've always shown X amount of income out to age 120 and shown what all other investments when they run out. So what I did is I said, hey, here's John Saver, a 40-year-old, saving $20,000 a year and is going to retire at age 67. Okay, so far so good. So if you have a max funded IUL, and if it only averaged 7%, which is a little bit less than they averaged during the worst decade since the Great Depression, this one would generate, based on 20 grand a year, at age 67, you don't put any more money in, you start taking it out, this would give you $161,000 a year if you live to be 120, okay? Now, the way I was doing it, if I had that net for other investments like brokerage accounts at 9%, IRAs at 6%, annuities at 5.5%, CDs, and they would all crash and burn, in their 80s or 90s or even their 70s. What Greg did is he said, let's do this. Let's ask the brokerage account crediting 9. Wait a minute. So you're earning 9 in the market. This one's only crediting 7. How much would the brokerage account earning 9%, how much would that generate after tax until I'm age 120? I don't want to run out. Oh, so you don't want to outlive your money? No. Well, then you could only take out $79,000 a year out of the brokerage account earning 9. And people go, oh, I think I'm starting to get this. So at 9, because it's tax deferred or taxes earned, I could only take out $79,000 to last until I'm 120. The IUL, I can take out 161. Yeah, which one's better? See the power of comparing one way or another? The IRA earning 6, it would only generate $57,000 a year, not 161. An annuity at 5.5, which is sort of the average of regular annuities, $41,000 a year. Well, it's guaranteed, but look what you're giving up by having a guarantee. That's why I probably will never own an annuity. But people who like guarantees, they're okay. A CD at a bank, I don't know very many banks paying 3%, but if they did, it would only generate $32,000 a year. You can't believe how many people have hundreds of thousands of dollars in CDs at banks. or savings accounts. And I said, what are you doing? You've got $700,000 here in the bank, earning a pathetic rate of return. One lady said, well, I was thinking about going on a trip. I said, where? To the moon? I mean, 700,000? Well, I didn't know where else to put my money. When people don't know what they don't know, and they sort of put their head in the sand. The CD would only generate 32,000. A savings account at 1% would only give you 21,000. So what Greg did is he sort of reversed what I was doing. I was showing how other investment alternatives don't even last 11 years into retirement or 15 years, and mine went on clear until age 120. What Greg did is he said, let's just sort of say, what if all of these had to give you income if you lived to be 120? See how much less you'd get? You do the difference and compound it out, and people begin to get it. So this is the power behind comparing to various alternatives based upon tax ramifications, the rate of return. Also, you have liquidity factors. But use the book, use a chart to talk about it in general, and then use software, either this way or the way that I did it for years, to help people actually see where they have their money and how much better they will be if they reposition their assets without increasing their outlay one dime. Did you catch that? Sort of the magic behind my practice for 35 years, I would tell people at a seminar, if I do an analysis of where you have your money currently, what I want to do, first of all, without increasing your outlay one dime, is help you optimize your assets and show you how much better off you would be 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, plus income if you live to be 120, if you keep your money where it's at, or where you could be if you repositioned, not increase your outlay, just reposition your money into something that's going to pass the liquidity, safety, rate of return test, and tax benefit test with flying colors, and how much better off you'll be. And when they see this compared to where they have their money, it's a slam dunk. They make their own choice. That's all I do. If someone were to describe me, it would be a soft sell. All I do is give people information. I educate them. And once they get educated, they're the ones who make the decision. I want the green one. I want this one. Because now they're educated and they can see the numbers. If you just, throw out, concepts, some people have a hard time grasping it. So use the book, the charts, and the software, and empower your clients to be able to make their own decisions based upon actual history.